And then it goes on to express that there's an exception to this law, and that is that things can move from chaos to order if there is this what's called external power source that's introduced into a system of some sort. Now let me bring it down to our level, what that's all about. Look at your children's bedrooms, for example. Talk about chaos. I think a lot of you recognize this. Now, if you are a parent and you don't interfere, will that room become cleaner? Or will it become messier over time? I mean, how is it that a room like that gets cleaned up? Well, it's by an outside energy force, you know. Either by you cleaning it up or by you threatening the lives of your children to clean it up, you know. Now, it's amazing how mankind can look at creation and question that there is a God. The greatest proof, as the Bible says, is his marvelous creation, what he has made. I mean, there's such incredible order and design. I mean, from the smallest elements, from the proton, the electron, the neutron, the crouton, and the futon, and all those other tons. You know. I mean, from that to the vastness of, you know, of our solar system. And we just get wild with that after discovery of the galaxy. It goes on beyond our own galaxy into, you know, the whole universe that's expanding. And throughout all that, from the tiniest little part to the expanse of our universe, there is order. And God, in his word, he tells us in Psalm 19, he says that the heavens, you know what they do? They are telling the glory of God. And they are a marvelous display of his craftsmanship. And day and night, they keep on telling us about God. And without a sound or word, silent in the skies, their message reaches out to the world. Powerful, powerful word there. And we're talking about billions and billions of stars out there on exact orbits and timing. And, I mean, we're talking about a witness here. What a witness it is. And the evidence of creation stares us in the face, and it says that there is a God. And then Job, what he would do, he would want us to also consider, you know, just the witness of nature that's all around us, which we really feel here in Hawaii, in particular Maui. And in verse 7 of Job 12, he says, but ask the animals, and, you know, they'll teach you, you know, or ask the birds of the air, and they'll tell you, or you speak to the earth, and it will teach you. Oh, you can go on, and you can let the fish of the sea inform you. Which of all these does not know that the hand of the Lord has done this? You know. And so when I think of a passage like that, I think of every time that you hear the sound of a bird, man, remember, he's witnessing to you. You know. You wake up in the morning, hear those birds telling you something. And when you look at God's creation, you know, what do you learn about him? Well, you learn that, well, about his attributes, he's powerful. He's obviously very creative. He's imaginative, you know, in so many ways. He's personal, just through us being able to communicate to one another. He just demands that we have a God who's personal, wants to communicate with us. You know, our Creator is a God of order. You know, he's wise, he's knowing, and he's obviously very complex. He's got an eye for beauty and splendor. His presence and touch is everywhere. And I can go on and on and on and so forth. But no one can do it better than Kit Lauer. You get Kit on this subject. I tell you what, he will. I met with Kit 2 days ago. I said, Kit, I'm going to be talking about this. I wanted you to talk. He's not feeling well enough to speak. I said, I wish you were up here. I do too. Well, Kit, what do you think about this idea? 2 hours later, explaining more of these things, going into the depths. We're scraping the theological galaxies of the existence of God and the cause and non-cause, you know, all this other kind of thing, you know. And I said, you know, what I need to do, you know, for those who have not taken this seminar, he gave this seminar a few months ago, and I tell you what, it's a phenomenal seminar dealing with the subject we're talking about. And I can't go into any more detail. I don't have the expertise like he does with his doctorate. But what I wanted to do is let you know, this is a commercial break, you know, right over here, you know, that we have a 4-disc CD set, you know, for $15, or some notes just for $5 on the information table for those of you who want to get more into this, the scientific knowledge of the existence of God and the nature of God. These very things I'm talking about in great detail, it is there for you. So, the evidence is in, and it's very clear. The starry universe, this plant and animal life, a newborn baby, and oh, there she is again. Okay, and what an accident. What are the odds of that happening? And just our human body, God is leaving his footprints everywhere, the Bible says. And so with that, there's absolutely no excuse. All right, now, in verse 21, what Paul does, he shows what happens historically when man suppresses the truth about God. It says that even though they knew God, they did not honor him as God or give thanks. But they became futile in their speculations, and their foolish heart was darkened. Verse 22 says, professing to be wise, they became what? Fools. Now don't miss this. The Bible gives us here two of the most obvious responses, that man should be making when he realizes that there is a God. And first it's just basically, in terms of a response, it's just giving God honor, giving God respect, giving God glory. And that's the first part of it all. And that's everything that he deserves. But then the second response is also obvious, and that is to approach God with a thankful heart. In other words, have you ever thought about just thanking God just for your existence, for example, just the fact that you have this incredible life? Thanking the Lord for the earth that he's given us for us to enjoy and to live in here. And it's thanking the Lord. You ever thank the Lord for your eyes? Now, why did he give you eyes? Just for us to see the beauty that's all around us. You think of the mind he's given us to reason. You think of the heart he's given us to feel the emotions and be able to love and be loved. He's given us this knowledge of him, this intuitive thing, to point out, that there is a God, a supreme God. But not only that, but that he loves us. Just thanking God that you would even consider us in light of all the things we're talking about here, that he's really concerned about you and me. And understanding that he loves us, desires to have us know him and experience him. See, that's a thankful heart. That should be a natural response. It should be. Well, a heart of gratitude in our particular culture is very rare, especially a culture that's entrenched with entitlement as we have in our country. For example, this one young boy was walking down the street with his mom, and they met his neighbor. That was a neighbor from across the street, but he just came from the grocery store. He had a bag of groceries. And so this neighbor, just out of kindness of the heart, gave this little boy an orange. And the boy just took it and, looked at the thing and just said nothing. And so the mom said to him, and what do you say to this nice man? And so looking at the man, the boy looks up and says, peel it. Well, that is kind of how we approach God. We when we're so demanding and stuff like that, there's no gratitude. We just, give me this, give me that. We got these spoiled hearts if we do. But our natural response is just to have a heart of gratitude. But instead of honoring God and being thankful to him, the rest of this passage as we're studying is that the people of ancient times, they start suppressing the truth and became futile in their speculations about God. And verse 23, what they did, they exchanged the glory of the incorruptible God for an image in the form of corruptible man and of birds and four-footed animals and crawling creatures. That's talking here about idolatry. In other words, they created their own religions, and their own ways of worship. And their foolishness was so distorted that out of wood and out of stone, or later on out of metal, they made their own gods to bow down to and worship. And these gods took on the form of created beings, from man to birds to animals, even bugs of all things, And so verse 22 sums it all up, saying, professing to be wise, they became fools. As you look back into history, as wise as some of these cultures were, they became fools about their speculations about God. Like, when you look back to great civilizations like Egypt, who was known for the worship of reptiles. I mean, they actually worshiped snakes. They worshiped